Hi, everybody. Welcome to this month's blog all about Power of Influence, where leadership meets culture. I'm excited to present this topic. A healthy workplace culture just doesn't happen by accident. It's shaped truly by how leaders like you and me show up. Interestingly, an article that was published a couple of years ago now from Benefits Canada stated that 74% of Canadian employees say they turn down a job offer due to company culture. This is huge. And we're finding more and more as we talk about workplace resiliency and we talk about, the turnover rates of organizations and employee base. We're finding more and more emphasis, spending more time talking about company culture in this way. So most effective leaders understand the true impact when it comes to leading, not through authority, but through influence. And that's really what we're going to talk about today is what can you and I do when it comes to influence and influencing a healthy company culture. So, we look at leadership terms like leading with authority, sure, we may get some short-term compliance, but leading with influence and through influence, and we're talking about, maybe wellness teammates, we're talking about wellness committee members, we might even be talking about middle managers, supervisors, and even C-suite executive teammates. When it comes to supporting and influencing a company culture, we can start to see how trust is something that's built over time, connection, commitment, and really lasting cultural change. And this is a tremendous opportunity to spend some time talking about how do we nurture that through our leadership influence. There are five things, there's many things, but there are five things when it comes to what leaders can do to promote and influence a company culture. And so we're going to talk about five of those now. The first one is leading through influence, not authority. We tend to see that great organizations, and great cultures aren't built by position. They're really built by behavior. As how we show up every day is, I learned of this quote is like leaders are like the climate, like the weather when it comes to organizations. You know when it's stormy out, you know when it's sunny out. And that really holds true to our influential leadership abilities, specifically through the lens of workplace wellness. So people may comply, as I said, with authority, but they commit through influence. That's really where we start to see the most thriving cultures and wellness programs and wellness strategies out there. Leaders can do a few things. They can participate, they can encourage others, they can have and participate in consistent communication and messaging, and really getting behind the opportunity here and how a wellness and well-being focus can support a company culture. The second thing we can do is I sort of alluded to participation, but the second thing we as leaders can do is lead by example and actually model well-being. What does that look like? It's modeling taking breaks, maybe setting boundaries, managing our own personal stress. We can't lead others if we don't take care of ourselves. And so we need to model the way when it comes to well-being and support those who also need to see this. This this attribute of leading through influence and modeling well-being, it signals that it's expected to be healthy and it's expected to take care of ourselves. It's not optional. And so I find that to be a very powerful message when it comes to our ability to influence a healthy culture by leading by example and modeling the way. Now, in terms of building trust on teams, the there's an absolute necessity, and we see this in healthy cultures when it comes to building psychological safety. Leaders who are able to influence through their leadership abilities are able to create a space where people feel like they can speak up. They can ask for help as needed, and realize that we're all human. Um, it can reduce stress. It can also be very powerful in preventing burnout, and obviously it can strengthen team cohesion. They feel more comfortable. They're able to speak up as needed, ask for help when needed. This is something that we find where we able to normalize this. Those cultures are people want to be part of those teams. And so that is such a powerful piece when it comes to leading, the power of our influence as leaders. The fourth example, or the fourth point I want to mention, is normalizing balance, not burnout. And this is a big one. You know, as leaders, we have responsibilities, we have deadlines, we have commitments, we have people we have to look over, might be leading a wellness team, we might be doing all sorts of things. And if we can really start to, again, to carry on modeling the way, is moving away from having an always on mindset. So when we start talking about this, we might set realistic expectations and maybe unplugging after work. So normalizing balance, having those boundaries, using time off, and encouraging our teammates to do the same. We find that with organizations who can follow this way of leading, they do find there's much more sustainable performance, and it really slows down on that short-term exhaustion. So, granted, everyone's tired, everyone's fatigued, there's lots going on in our world. But if we can normalize balance and not burnout, then that is something that can be very powerful in today's really climate when it comes to leadership and organizations. The fifth point I wanted to mention is a healthy culture sees people, not just productivity. So we're recognizing and supporting the whole person. As leaders, we can check in regularly. We can recognize effort and growth. I love the whole point on um, building culture, building a healthy culture. It's all about progress, not perfection. Perfection kills progress. And so if we can start to champion cultures of progress, not perfection, it can be really helpful for organizations and teams and whatnot to partake. We can recognize growth, we can recognize effort, and all in all, within our, from a well-being perspective and a wellness strategy perspective, we can find mental and emotional wellness and self-care strategies, like offering various programs dedicated to these specific elements, can be really impactful when it comes to showing our teams that we care when it comes to our well-being. So as we start to navigate, in uncertain times when it comes to organizations and with the world as it is right now, there are some things we can do as leaders as we show up for organizations, as we are in support of our teammates, and really focusing in on modeling the way when it comes to well-being. Specifically, if your organization does have offerings when it comes to well-being, mental health, emotional well-being, self-care, stress management, take advantage of those. Because remember, we can't take care of others if we don't take care of ourselves. Hope you have a great month.